This action piece, entitled Matter of Honor, depicts Crow King, chief of the Hunkpapa Sioux, who is likely the only chief to openly oppose Sitting Bull prior to the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876. He distrusted Sitting Bull's advisor and medicine men and came to believe adopting the white man's ways offered the only hope for Indian survival. Nevertheless, as a matter of honor, Crow King abided by the wishes of the other tribes and fearlessly led his horsemen in the strategic turning point of the battle by cutting off Custer's 7th Cavalry from escaping to a nearby river, thus forcing them to make their stand on an exposed ridge. Dave McGary depicted him at the moment he captured several items from a 7th Cavalry officer: his saber, trapdoor Springfield carbine, and his coat. Imagine a very young man from a ranching family in Cody, Wyoming, having just completed his sophomore year in high school, being selected by the preeminent Western sculptor of the day, Harry Jackson, to a 2-year scholarship apprentice program. Under Jackson's care and supervision, this 16-year-old underwent an intensive study of both bronze casting methods and becoming a sculptor, providing him with the foundation to become the acknowledged master of realism in bronze. McGary took color and detail to new levels and became the successor to Jackson's legacy. At 24 years old, McGary was invited to attend a Sundance ceremony at the Pine Ridge Reservation, rarely seen by outsiders. His instinct to show respect, to listen, and learn resulted in his staying with the tribal chief, Gerald Red Elk. McGary was given the name Big Eagle and adopted into the Sioux Nation. In a touching display of Indian humor, he was given a second name, reflecting his unquenchable desire to learn and listen to the stories of the past: Big Red Ears. At his departure that summer, Gerald Red Elk gave the young sculptor words to live by: to observe, to listen, to share. McGary's interpretation of Crow King in full war paint may be the most fearsome image of a Native American. The details and look clearly state this is not a man to be trifled with. Here we see Dave applying the finishing touches to a life-size bust of the famous warrior, who nevertheless foresaw the eventual fate of his people. This full figure image of Crow King is a masterpiece and depicts him some months after the Battle of the Little Bighorn, wearing the trophies taken from the officer and decorated in Sioux beadwork, including the saber's scabbard. Crow King eventually surrendered to U.S. troops in 1880, was imprisoned in Fort Buford, and later released in 1883. Crow King's strong belief that the Indian must adapt the white man's ways to survive was evidenced by offering his daughter to be educated by the whites through the Indian Agency. Seen here is a portrait of Crow King painted in 1885. Throughout his life, Crow King continued to advocate peace with the whites. This is a pivotal piece in Dave McGary's work. Technically, he was gradually moving towards using paint and several patinas to create color differences. Having witnessed many Indian ceremonies which were full of color, he felt that this was largely missing among contemporary sculptors. Additionally, he had the experience with color working with Harry Jackson. This Ogallala Sioux warrior's original name was Red Horn, but after defeating a lieutenant colonel in battle, he took his cavalry sword and jacket and proudly displayed these trophies as he rode through his camp and received his new name, Long Soldier. Here we see Dave McGary working on a clay model for the life-size image of Long Soldier, which is close to 7 feet tall. The image here is perhaps a few months after the event and shows the jacket being decorated to conform to its new owner's wishes. Of great significance to McGary is meeting and becoming lifelong friends with Daniel Long Soldier, the great-great-grandson of the Sioux warrior Long Soldier. The two traveled throughout many reservations, witnessed many ceremonial events, and heard the stories from living relatives of the figures that Dave would soon immortalize in bronze. Dave would call Daniel his artery into the Indian world. Reflecting the importance McGary felt about this piece, he created it in larger-than-life size. Bear's Nest is one of a number of chiefs and warriors that Dave McGary has sculpted who fought in the infamous Battle of the Little Bighorn. In the summer of 1984, McGary's stay at the reservation in Montana not only introduced him to Daniel Long Soldier, great-great-grandson of Long Soldier, but also Bear's Nest's great-great-grandson, also named Bear's Nest. McGary was privileged to see various ceremonies not open to outsiders, but also hear the stories about Bear's Nest and his deeds in battle, his dress and weaponry, all passed down in family lore. To his people, Bear's Nest is more than a memory. He is an inheritance. Not to overlook the unquenchable desire for riches, Episode 7 tells the story of the California Gold Rush in 1849 and the Bozeman, Montana gold fields of 1862.